What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another Tuesday night. We got Mr. John Myers in the house. This is going
Good
to be the two
morning.
of
Good
us
morning,
tonight.
everybody.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is when you're watching this ragtag bunch of misfits. But yeah, man, tonight we're going to kind of go over what's been going on and a little bit of looking forward to this fall transition that's will be coming up shortly. So, John, how you doing, buddy?
Great, great. Of all the years to miss Clear Lake, this was the year not to miss Clear Lake. Apparently, the fishing
Oh,
was phenomenal, and a lot of people caught a lot of fish, a lot of big ones. And
yeah.
I'm happy for everybody that did well. Congratulations. Um, I texted you guys if you would respond. I'd like to do an interview and get back to writing some articles. I got some catching up to do too. So, yep.
Nice. He hasn't forgotten
Oh,
about
oh,
you guys. He's gonna start writing again.
yeah. So tell me, James,
Yes,
um,
John.
1 to 10. Well, sorry, 1 to 10. 10 being a phenomenal fishing weekend, and one being suck ass.
There's no other way to put that one, man. It's for me. It's the best few days I've ever had on Clear Lake. I mean, granted, I didn't get a good bag on Saturday. I did dump a good one at the boat that would have put me over 90 inches again, but it was the best 2 days that I have had on Clear Lake yet. And in between catching keepers and whatnot, you're catching tons and tons of little fish. So I mean, the population's back; they're chewing. Um, man, just holding back on practice to not stick any more fish than I did was tough because it was it was unbelievable, man. You throw a bait, I hit an area, threw a crankbait, got bit. It's like cool, we're chasing. Tied on a spinnerbait, threw a spinnerbait, got bit. Okay, cool. Moved up the bank 100, 150 feet. Throw the crank again, they're biting. Throw. It was like damn near throw anything you wanted to, and they would bite. I mean, I ended up at one point throwing a 1 ounce weight because I was flipping some grass, and there's just some rock there. I was like, I wonder if they'd eat this on the rocks. Threw it out there, and before it even hit bottom, they were thumping that craw on the fall, and it was phenomenal fishing. But next week we will have on Cayman, Anthony Garcia, and then I'm looking to get Bryce Gibbs on for next week. So we will talk a lot more about Clear Lake, a lot more about what happened last weekend. But dude, it was. Any of you guys that are out there, drop a comment, give us your thoughts 1 to 10 on Clear Lake because it was great, man. It was. I put 93 and a quarter day one, and I'm thinking about how the bite was in June. I'm like, man, this is gonna be good. And then, towards the end of the day, I looked at the leaderboard. I was sitting in 10th. I was like, oh man. And then lines out what happened, and I was waiting for Damien to come around the corner. We're gonna cruise back to the ramp, and I see him submitting fish, and I was like, I wonder where it's at now. Pull it up again. I fall down to like 19th. I was like, God dang. And then by the time Damien got done submitting, him and I had the same exact score on day one, and he he got me that 20-inch, 20 or 20 and a half kicker. So there's three of us tied with 93 and a quarter. I went from 10th down to 22nd, and then just kept on looking down the leaderboard. And there was
There was 24.
36 or 37 bags over 90 inches on Friday, which is insane because
Yeah, 20.
91 in June puts you in the top 11 to get qualified for the the Bassmaster Kayak Championship.
Yeah, the 29th place was 90 inches.
It dropped down. I think it was over 30 bags on day one of the Chris Laird on Friday at 90. I think there's 29 on Saturday for the Chris Laird. So even Saturday, there's still 30, almost 30 bags over 90. And they came and almost put up 100 every day, which is just crazy.
Yeah, day 2 had 21 bags over 90.
Yeah, it was.
What's up, Troy?
Crazy.
What's up, Ua? What's up, Robert? What's up, Brian?
Yeah,
I miss you guys,
guys
man.
that didn't make the trip, you definitely missed out. John, unfortunately, I know circumstances for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm
But,
yeah. I was
Hey,
looking at
that
Chris
that
Laird.
that bite's still going to be. I mean, I want to go back up this weekend if I could.
Yeah, 39th place was 90 inches on Friday.
Yeah,
39 inches or 39 people had over 90 inches.
Mhm.
That's insane.
and what's crazy is, I mean, even from where I was at to like 10th place was only a couple inches. I mean, it was one good fish away. You know, I dumped a couple on day one, but I don't think any of them would have helped my cause. I think I landed a majority of the bigger fish that bit, but I could feel the pressure because I was fishing at two small areas that had the majority of my fish. I had a grass patch that was probably 75 feet long. That was like the key grass patch. That was the real viney stalks that had the real big leafy leaves on it. And then once you got past that, it hit another tree, and then it kind of getting with the brown fuzz on it, you know. And that from that section down to this little point that was a little rocky point that was there, that was pretty well dead. And then that rocky point, you know, I started in the grass in the morning because that's where my big fish were. I found in practice, and I couldn't get anything going there. And I was kind of watching as people were coming by, where they were going, what they were doing. And I fished it for about 45 minutes, and I felt safe enough at that point to slide on down to that little rocky point. And I just got on a really good crank and spinnerbait bite there for a minute. I did lose one in a tree over there. And then had I did have 5 fish by that time. So I caught my limit over there, small limit, like 80 something. And then that bite died down. The crankbait died down for me pretty early. It was wide open, lots of fish, whether they're keepers or little ones. Till about 8:30. I turned around, went back to the grass, and started throwing a swim jig, and coiled up twice in the grass, 3 times in the grass, and then that bite died pretty quick, like 9:45, 10 o'clock, and ended up catching one last fish a little deeper on the jig. And then by 10:15, I had one more bite towards the end of the day. It was a keeper bite, but it didn't do nothing. But from like 10:15 to like 1:15, the bite shut off for me. So I kind of scrambled a little bit, and had Damien's little voice in the back of my head when we were in Oklahoma. Hey, stupid, don't leave your spot. The fish are still there. So I went back over there and ended up catching like another 17, but it didn't coal or nothing. It was wild.
It was crazy. So I was looking at the scoreboard, you know, and it seemed like the first hour or first 2 hours of the day, people just whacked them. I was like looking. I was like, wow, look at that. From 6 to 8, people caught 100 inches, you know, or over 90 inches.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy moly. I guess then it seemed like it kind of slowed down until around 10. And then it kind of slowed down, and then it picked back up real close to 2 o'clock. People at right around 1:30 to 2 o'clock, it seemed like a lot of people caught a couple of good ones at the very end.
Yeah. It it was weird. And even Saturday, so I didn't fish Sunday. I came home Saturday night. I had to get up to work early today or yesterday. So I had took Sunday to rest, hang out with the family. But
It takes Sunday, that right?
yeah,
Hell yeah, you did. I
and
think everybody did.
yeah, I needed that day in between that trip and work. It did well for the soul.
Right.
And I mean, dude, I got Saturday. I went to started my big fish spot with the intentions of trying to find something there if I could in the morning, and then cruise into my crank spot, put a quick limit in the boat, and then come back. Unfortunately, there was I ended up sharing some water Saturday, and another guy sat on my crank spot, so I just kind of stayed where I was at and got on a really good crankbite Saturday morning there, and put up a pretty quick limit. It seemed like Saturday, and then went to fish in the grass, pulled a couple out of the grass, but they were slowly getting smaller and smaller. Fished some other grass areas that were close by. Had one fall bait up. I was punching the grass, and that thing shot up out of there, about grabbed it out of the right at the top of the water. I was pulling bait out of the water, but I couldn't get nothing else going, and I had, dude, you want to talk about one of those days where only you could do something that stupid? I don't know, man. My my spot lock was acting all stupid. Stuck the back end of my kayak into a tree. Got like 4 rods tangled in a tree. Had to get that taken care of. Was fishing. I had a crankbait that was running kind of funny, so I tuned it. It was running fine, running great. And then next thing you know, it was running all goofy on me. Went up into my trolling motor, got my line stuck on my motor. And then that was Saturday. The wind was ripping at that point. I mean, just flat ripping. We had caught like parts where it'd be pretty flat calm, and then all of a sudden the gusts would come up and rip through that area like crazy. I ended up pedaling around to this dock. I was like, I'll get on that dock, get everything take care of. Get to the dock. Didn't want to leave my spot too far. No deck on the dock. It's just a frame. So I took my pedal drive leash, tethered myself to the dock, crawled up on the bow of the kayak, trying to not fall in the water, still kind of stay still. And I got my line untangled, and I had to like take one more piece of the line off. Next thing I know, out the corner of my eye, I just see my battery pack and my GoPro fall right in the water. Like, oh, great. And then we get back to the ramp, and somehow on the other side of the kayak that wasn't tied up to the dock, I lost half a paddle. Don't know how that happened. It was
typical day in the kayak, right?
Saturday was a mess, dude. I'll get that footage out. I'm hoping to start working on it this week. I'll get my practice days up, hopefully by the end of the week. If you guys don't know, I do have a YouTube channel, Croco Outdoors. I'll try to get that stuff up and get tournament day footage up next week and day 2 the week after that. But I'll put those fiascos in there. It was just stupid. I don't know what the heck happened. But it was fun, man. I mean, other than that, losing, half of a $200 paddle and an external battery pack, I had a blast.
So tell me about the wind on so Friday. Was the wind blowing a Pacific direction the same as Saturday?
So the wind was coming from the north, and it was blowing the same way Wednesday when I found the spot. Thursday, I went back and went further and found more areas to fish. The wind was the same. Friday, the wind was, it would pick up and go, but it wasn't as bad. Saturday, the wind was ripping. And then it was supposed to change directions at 11. And I think it was around 1 o'clock, the wind changed directions. And, I remember somebody telling me, hey, be in your best spot when that wind changes directions. So I kind of stayed in the same spot all day. I did venture away a little bit, which I should have gone and explored more. I feel like I burned that spot down pretty good and probably should have left that area earlier. But I was there. The sun broke out, and I was kind of spinning my wheels because they weren't biting the crank. They weren't biting the swim jig in the grass. I couldn't catch them flipping anymore. Couldn't get them on the spinner bait anymore. Um, I tried quite a few different techniques, and I couldn't get anything. And I was sitting there. The sun came out. I was like, you know what? I might as well just try a frog. What else do I have left to lose? Maybe pull something up out of that grass that I haven't seen before. One of the first casts I made with it, I had one boil on it, and it was a good one. And the wind was blowing it, so you kind of had to like throw out and let the wind blow it back into the grass. And I got it back into the middle of that one big one was on a point in the grass, and I got it back in that middle where the big thick stuff was. I had like a 17 or 18 boil on it, which I could have used that one too, but never got bit. I probably had like 3 or 4 other fish just turned on it. And then I made another cast on that point, and that big one came up and ate it, and got it right to the boat. And I just see the mouth coming up, and I'm like, that's the biggest bucket I've seen yet all weekend long. And she came up, and as she come up, I just see my frog separating out of her mouth, and she threw it right. I mean, before I could even try to remotely grab the net and put her in the kayak. So it was caught 21 in practice, and she was every bit as big as that, if not bigger.
So were you fishing? Was there rock around? Were you fishing that grass?
Yes, there was rock. There was the bank had a lot of the big chunk lava rock on it.
Okay.
And then in certain spots there was some key trees on the bank with the grass around it, and that's where I found the majority of my fish where that grass was good, that tree was there, and they were kind of in that mix.
So the big lava rock with some grass, and then there was threadfin, silver side.
Silver sides everywhere. I mean, yeah,
that silver sides there. Yeah,
that's why I kind of figured it would reload, because it was I'd say it's probably only from the bank to where it dropped off to go down deep was probably only 25 feet. So it was a short flat, taper down, hit a short flat, and then went straight pretty much down vertical almost. It was a nice little edge there. And majority of the fish I was cranking up were, a couple of them were on the grass edge, but a lot of them were right on that break on that drop off.
So yeah. How many of you guys saw the Bassmasters this last weekend? It was kind of funny how they had a couple. So first of all, the guy that was in first place kind of got sandwiched between 2 other anglers, and there's like this unwritten rule about not, fishing next to the guy that's winning it. You leave him alone and let him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, even in the professional bass fishing tournaments, the highest level, you get a lot of that as well, which, I mean, I've seen it in everything, and kayaks too, kayaks, you could only go, you're limited
so
where you could go, what I mean? So, and just like that rock pile with the point with, the silver sides on it and the weeds, and that was the key. So when you're fishing it, if you leave, you're done.
Yeah.
You got 100 more anglers over there, and in that area where you launched, probably,
that point wasn't like, I caught a lot of decent fish there, but it wasn't the big fish spot. And even where the grass was, where I was catching my bigger fish, that whole bank had a lot of that big lava rock where I was at. But and that's the it was about 150 yards from me from where I started, and I knew going into it I couldn't protect both spots, so I had to pick one or the other.
Right.
I knew at some point somebody would end up rolling on there. I was lucky enough day one to kind of fish it the way I did. I got really lucky; nobody found it.
How bad did the wind get I mean, was it kind of like dangerous, sketchy? You
It,
know,
I mean, dude, I was literally 0.7. I was like 7/10 of a mile from the ramp, if that. And it was as long as I stayed spot locked in it, and I was good. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you get a couple come up behind you and you'd surf it a little bit. If you were trying to cross the lake from where I was at, you'd be over. You'd flip. It was, but going with the wind direction, into it or
not
with it
recommended.
wasn't bad. Crossing
You're
it, forget it. There's no way. There's no way in hell I would ever cross the
fine.
lake in that wind. Yeah, it
Crossways.
was. It was. It was. Like I say, it wasn't. I didn't feel in danger where I was at because of the way I had to travel to get there and back, and then the way I could set up to fish it wasn't bad at all.
It's funny. So my experience at Clear Lake, uh, it seemed like that's almost like a fall pattern. So
Mm-hmm.
cranking the lava rocks. Usually when fall comes around, you got to get something. You got to wind, you know, and that lava rock or objects like docks and stuff, cranking by them or whatever. That seems to be the ticket compared to going slow, you know. And
Yeah,
it was almost like a fall pattern more than it was a summer pattern, you
the
know.
the grass the grass is kind of summerish. You know what I mean? I'd flip that swim jig up into the holes, either hit the stalks of the grass, rip it through it, or crawl it up on top and let it fall. And so on the fall,
Mhm.
they'd hit it every time. It seemed like. But yeah, the crank pattern. I think a lot of it had to do with the wind and the bait getting blown in the area. I got lucky
Right.
enough for that.
And set the fish up Pacific way, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep. The
Nice.
Saturday, Friday, the bait wasn't as in abundance as it was in practice or on Saturday because the wind was. I was hoping for the wind Friday, and I never really got the wind that I was hoping for. I mean, I was excited to see 10-mile-an-hour winds, which I never excited to see that at Clear Lake, but I was hoping for it because I mean it just set that area up beautifully to do what I wanted to do.
So then Sunday was it when? Oh, you weren't there Sunday.
Now Sunday I didn't fish. I know a couple guys did cross at some parts of the ramp, and they were like, "Oh crap, that might have been a bad idea." I know Pua fished Sunday. He might be able to tell us. I know Troy fished Sunday. I'm not sure if Robert did or not. You guys let us know what the wind was like on Sunday. But yeah, it's fall transition, John. We're getting there. What
Okay.
what do you want to see before you say, "All right, we're in fall fishing now"?
Well, I mean, what's funny is what always triggers it for me is when you go outside and your windshield's wet.
There you go.
So a lot of times when the so let's see what's Raymond says he got stuck by Anderson half
Half
the
the
day on
day.
Sunday, and Sunday was as bad as Saturday. Troy Haney says so. It
Yeah,
was pretty
Saturday.
gnarly on
Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday.
and Sunday. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So do on the windshield in the morning.
dew on the windshield in the morning. That's my first clue. Um, and it's funny. So for me, like the Delta, when I have dew on my windshield in the morning, I put a buzzbait in my hand, and that's all I'll throw. For some reason, they just like to eat a buzzbait when it's like that, and you catch some pretty good ones. Um, Now with the chatterbait and stuff like that, other moving baits, crankbaits and stuff like that, it seems to kind of override the buzz bait, But yeah, I like throwing that buzz bait when there's dew. And then, our deep water reservoirs, um, again, when that water temperature starts dropping, we get a lot of cooler nights, cooler days. The days become shorter. the fish start ganging up and pushing those schools of bait in main lake pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally way in the back of a creek arm, but most of the time it's a main lake pocket. And it could be any one. It could be, depending on the lake and stuff too, but always start looking for, something that has a main lake point that slopes way out in the middle of the lake. That's where they kind of pull up on. And then I'll fish from there, excuse me, fish towards the back. And that's when the forward facing really helps. You just scan around, you can see them. They're all suspended, and that's when, the spoon for me is the dominant lure. Now with the mid strolling too, that's just as good. I've actually caught them cranking super deep water, but not on the bottom. You know what I mean? I've caught them on poppers in like 200 feet of water, just throwing the popper out. But it has to have some standing wood and stuff like that. So it kind of depends on where you're at, the structure you're fishing, the lake you're fishing. I like, let's say, like Berryessa. If you can find some grass.
Just thinking Barry, we got it at the end of September for BAM. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, you find some grass, and then find some bait. Those fish will hide in that grass, and the bait, they'll come out and push that bait, up against the grass and just gorge themselves. And it can be pretty shallow. I've seen it too where they're super deep as well. That's the hard thing about the fall months is, you could catch them on top, or you could catch them in 50 feet of water. It's a little more difficult to catch them, but you get them around those schools of bait, and they're pretty easy to catch. They're so aggressive. Berryessa one time, I couldn't believe it. I was heading. It was real windy that day, and I was heading to these sloping points. I was going to go through a jig, and I'm cruising over there, and I just happened to glance over at my electronics, and there's this big old spaghetti. And just from top to bottom, I turned around, I dropped the spoon down, I caught an 18-inch smallmouth, measured it, let it go. I saw the fish as I was measuring. I saw the fish start disappearing. So they were like moving through real fast. So I kind of had to catch up to them. As soon as I got on them again, dropped down, never hit the bottom. I didn't have to even work the spoon, just dropped it down. Another 17 or 18-inch smallmouth. It was insane the big that smallmouth was, catching 3 smallmouth and 2 spots. And the spots were on the bottom, but the smallmouth, it was insane how big they were. And I had awesome. One pull off, So a lot of times when they pull off, they're foul hooked. You know what I mean? Yeah. You really can't prevent that, unless you really fight them slow. But then they'll still, for some reason, they like to come off right at the net or whatever. And then I started catching squawfish. I mean, there's 40 feet of water. There's this line of squawfish, and it was every drop was squawfish, and I couldn't believe it. And I think the weigh-in was at 3. At 2 o'clock, I found this, and like at 2:30 or 2:40, I had a limit. It didn't take long. I just happened to stumble on them. But Don Pedro, McClure, I fished the main lake cuts. Don Pedro, I do the same, and for some reason, like at Don Pedro, they kind of like that clay bottom. Okay. I'm not quite sure why they kind of like that clay bottom. I've caught them on the slate, and then McClure, it's all slate basically. So I just go around, even though you don't see them, you can pull them up with a drop shot. I've been with I brought some family members, never fished a day in their life, and I told them, yeah, drop it to the bottom and just hold it to the bottom, and then just pick up a little bit. And a 5-year-old kid, he dropped to the bottom. He started reeling up, and he was reeling up, and I see this school of fish come off the bottom, huge school of fish. And all of a sudden, he goes, "I got one." And I figured, okay, you know what I mean? He figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which was cool because I would have never done what he did. You know. So
Yeah.
drop shot in a little 2.8 Kitech, drop it on the bottom, and slowly roll up. And the school would just lift up with it. And it was a big school, and you would, if you graphed over it, you never saw them. So they stick to the bottom sometimes too. So that's the other thing. You don't always see them, with the 2D or the 3D, but forward facing, it's really helpful because you can actually see them crawling on the bottom. But again,
sometimes when they're glued to the bottom, though, you're not going to.
You don't see them. Yeah, they have to be like a foot off the bottom with the new transducer. The old transducer is like 3 feet off the bottom. I've done it where I drop the spoon down, and when it disappears, I drop it to the bottom and I lift it up until I see it, and it's like 3 feet.
Oh, wow.
So the old one, yeah, the new one's around a foot. So technology is pretty cool.
Yep.
And for them to ban forward facing or whatever, it's a tool. It's like banning a 250 horsepower motor. That's a tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That was like Clear Lake, man. I live scoped one fish, and it was just a random dumb luck. I was fishing the Thule grass edge, and had my transducers kind of pointed off out a little deeper. I see 2 marks swimming. I go, "Oh, those look like good marks." Grabbed the jig, threw it out there. It's bottom, thump, caught it. It was my third 19 on Friday. Right place, right time, pointing in the right direction. You know what I mean? But 90% of the time, man, last weekend at Clear Lake, I didn't even. It was on, but like I said, I was using it to kind of pan out on the deeper edge to see if I saw some fish coming up out of the deep area. But that wasn't my. I definitely didn't really catch very many on that.
Right.
But it's a good tool when you need it. Finding that one rock pile, it's off that, that one little spot. Or a rock pile off the Thules where the fish might come off the Thules and sit on it, which I did find some of that in some other areas. But that's what I used it for.
Yeah, Clear Lake, the fall pattern is throwing, crankbaits on that big lava rock, or jigs, or the swim baits. Those are the 3 lures you throw in the fall. And it seemed like a lot of people caught them on that stuff.
You know? That was funny. I talked to Sean Beach at the awards, and he's like, "Hey, man, how'd you get them?" Like, "Exhaust, swim jig, spinnerbait, cranking, jig." He's like, "Dude," he was saying, like, just everybody talked to, it was like the same bite. Some of the guys are on, some other bites, but it's funny how many guys are doing the same thing.
That is pretty funny how quick all the guys figure them out.
Yeah. And what's funny too is Thursday I was on a red craw bite. Couldn't get touched on it on Friday. Friday was all shad color stuff. Saturday I couldn't get bit on my shad colored swim jig. I put on a bluegill swim jig, started getting bit with that. It was funny how each day kind of had a different little nuance that you had to try to pick up on.
Right.
To change to get that bite. It was really funny. And then they wouldn't hit a flashy swimmer, but it's like they wanted that skirt, the big movie bulky stuff, And I didn't catch anything flipping on Friday. Put a punch skirt on for Saturday and caught a couple flipping. It was something to do with that skirt. They just wanted that bigger profile, it seemed like.
Now, was the silver side still there, or they did?
Oh, yeah. They were there the whole time.
Okay.
They never left. That was the funny thing.
Did you see any bluegill eating them?
Nope.
Or popping the top?
Nope.
No?
No. It just, I was like, well, they're not eating this one anymore. Let me just try. They're eating a green pumpkin. So I had a Billows shad, and what was it, like AJ's Magic or whatever. So it's like a green pumpkin-y color, and I had a punch skirt on that, and they were eating that when I flipped it. So I was like, oh, if they're gonna eat that, let me try a bluegill swim bait or swim jig, and tried it. Dyed tail with chartreuse, started putting fish in the kayak again. Just a couple of them on it. The swim jig bite wasn't as good as it was on Friday, but it got me a couple.
Hmm. I like throwing a swim jig.
Mm-hmm. It's
I like
nice too
that.
because you could, like, I was flipping it up to the base of trees and just slowly working it back, and no, you don't have to flip the jig in there or whatever. You already got one each tied on, so I don't have to start flipping that swim jig around.
Yeah, I wonder how many people did well up north.
A few. I
A
know
few
there are some big bags caught up north. I don't know where Cayman fished. I haven't heard, but I do know there are some big bags up north, and I'm pretty sure there's some big bags down south too.
Mm-hmm.
I was more mid lake. A lot of guys that launched out of Brados did real well, from what I hear. It's fish are everywhere right now. Fish are everywhere. What's up, Drew? It was good seeing you last weekend, buddy. Yeah, man. Like I said, I don't think it really mattered what part of the lake you're on. Guys are getting bit. Some big bags got caught down south. I know that for sure. I don't know what arm it was, but there's some big bags down south. There's some big bags mid lake, and there's some big bags up north. They're everywhere right now.
Right.
Which maybe, I mean, I'm not gonna grill the guys where they're fishing next week, but we'll ask north, south, or mid. We'll get an idea.
Yeah, you don't want to burn people's holes because
Nope.
at Clear Lake, when they find out, they'll blow it up.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna try to get you guys: north, south, or central. That's all I'm gonna get for you.
Yeah, you don't even need that really. Just tell them, big rock, small rock.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Toolies.
Yeah,
let them figure it out.
Yep. No kidding. I know some of the spots. Yeah. I know where a couple of guys were, and
yeah, Clear Lake. That place is every little spot's friggin' community hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is no secret spots anymore.
No.
Which the section I fished. I'd never been there before, and I'm shocked with the way the fish were acting in practice. I don't know if people just didn't fish that 3/4 of a mile stretch, or they had their eyes set somewhere else. It was interesting that there wasn't more people in there, because I mean the fish. Even Damien and I went and launched the same place on Thursday, and I figured out what I needed to figure out, and I got off the water pretty early. And he was headed that way. I said, "Oh man," I said, "don't beat up on my fish." And he's like, "All right." And the second he got to where I was at, he's like, "Oh, this is where James is fishing." He's like, "All right." He didn't beat on him, but I mean, yeah, even you just had to go by it, and he found it. It was so obvious, but it was the little stuff that I kind of fine tuned over the couple days that really gave you a good idea which part of that area to fish mainly. That's cool doing that. I mean, I haven't had a 2-day tournament where I had some good success like that back to back.
That's good.
It was. I felt good putting it together, but then I also felt like crap. What did I do wrong? You know what I mean? Because definitely some stuff I did wrong, but it's all good. We're still learning, Johnny.
Oh yeah, I'm still learning.
We're still learning.
Mm-hmm. I'm still learning.
Yes, sir. Yeah, guys. What? You got any questions about fall fishing? Maybe John or I could answer. Drop them in the comments, guys. Don't forget. Visit Headwaters Adventure Company. Help support Brian. He does a lot for us. Don't forget about Jay over at Hooked. Let me put that up there. Yeah, Drew, it was great, man. We got to spend some time together this weekend, talking, BSing. That was fun. Had a lot of fun. There we go.
There you go.
For visit Jay, you get 50%, $50 or more. You get free shipping. It's usually 1 to 2 day shipping, depending on how close you are. And don't forget Hooked 44 for 10% off. You guys are gonna buy tackle anyway. Help a small business, local business owner, and save yourself 10%. And you guys, like I said, if you go to the store, he doesn't have it. You can always get it from the website, and he's got a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah,
so his website, is through Tackle Tech. So he's got a wide selection of stuff. And if you something you need and you don't see it on his website, give him a call. He might have another avenue to find what you guys need. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to. We got what we got next? We got BAM Delta in September.
In September? When in September?
It is the. I want to say, where's my calendar?
Hopefully the end part of September.
No, BAM Delta is the 7th.
Oh boy.
And then the TOC for BAM is the 28th and 29th of September. John, if you're going to get in the kayak and you need help putting it in the water.
I gotta be strong enough to do a self-rescue before I get back in a kayak.
That's true.
I'm working on it.
Got a couple of weeks.
Man, I tell you what, I'm shocked at how weak I am.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We got what, three weeks left, I think, before that event.
Oh, hopefully I could do it.
Yeah, because we got this weekend, then it's Labor Day weekend, then the Delta event. So then we have our no entry fee championship at the end of September. So
one thing,
John,
my kayak's going to go a lot faster.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? No kidding. No, I'll tether you to me, bud. We'll go around the Delta together, put some fish in the boat. I'll rescue you if you need it. We'll get you back out there.
Go over there and hit me with the head with the paddle and just give me.
I only have half a paddle. I only have half a paddle. Ain't gonna hurt too hard.
He's the end, the big fat end, the flat end.
Oh man. Yeah, guys. Next week, we got like I said, Anthony Garcia, Cayman, Rasmussen, and then I'm shooting to get Bryce Gibbs. Get us a little bit of Arizona, Utah, and California guys in here. Kind of represent all the guys that traveled from all over the place to come fish the West Coast Championship. Because
what about Jason McClure? Is he from Oregon, right?
Yeah, I think there was Oregon. I don't know him. I didn't see him. So, John, if you reach out to him, or if he's watching,
I sent him a Facebook message to interview him. So
yeah, we'll try to get top 3 plus Gibbs. And
Gibbs is a good guy.
Another goofy guy.
He's funny.
Yep. So we'll try to get a couple of top 10 guys on next week. We'll let them break down what they want to break down about Clear Lake. I'm hoping that bite, man. I got a good feeling for the future of that lake after this past weekend. Because the amount of 20-plus inch fish. I'd be curious to know how many 20-plus inch fish were caught this last weekend.
A bunch.
Oh my God, yeah. And you know what's crazy is there was what I said. I think there was like 1,400 fish caught and submitted on TourneyX.
Yeah.
For 2 days, guys. I didn't submit every fish I caught because if I caught one that didn't help, I'm not going to submit it. Not to mention the shorts that we caught. There was probably well over. I couldn't imagine how many fish were caught total over those 2 days.
I tell you, that's a real good thing. It tells you Clear Lake's still doing really well.
Yep. Yeah, I'm hoping next year it continues. If we get, the amount of big fish that are there, we get a good spawn year in next year. That lake's gonna stay nice and healthy for a long time.
Yeah, as long as we got the water in there.
Yep.
As long as they don't stick that straw in there and suck it all out and put it in the orchards.
Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody up there. They said once it hits 3.5 foot mark, they kind of stop pulling water out of there. So one of the bait shops up there was telling me that once it hits 3.5, they kind of shut off some of those those counties from
Straws.
sucking.
All
Yeah.
the straws, they sucking all the water out.
Yep. So yeah, and I'm still amazed, man, the lack of grass that is there. You know. Yeah, Drew said the fantastic hitch spawn definitely helped this year.
Yep.
You know, like I'm amazed at the lack of grass. I really am. Like there was some hydrilla mixed in with that leafy stuff that I was fishing,
Pondweed.
but whatever you want to call it, I
think it's called pondweed.
I
Brown
don't know what it's
leafy
called.
stuff.
It was green. It was green.
Green?
Yep.
Hmm.
If you found the green stuff, you found the fish. If you found the fuzzy brown stuff, I didn't find the fish in it. But yeah, no, it was good, guys. Yeah, I think that's all we got for you. A little short one tonight. Just talking a little fall fishing. Don't forget to stock up on your spoons, your flutter spoons, your jigging spoons, some crankbaits. I need to restock up on some crankbaits because I lost quite a few of them this weekend. Matter of fact, though, I didn't lose a single thing in practice. Not a single thing. And I was grinding that. I was a 15-foot diving crankbait. I was grinding it anywhere from 8 to 10 feet. Never, barely got it snagged. Didn't lose it. I had one that color. I had a couple other of that style crankbaits, just in shad colors. First cast Friday morning. Oh, stuck. Go over, try to pop it out. She gone.
Never fails.
I didn't even catch a fish. Never caught a fish on a tournament day. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I had a 10-foot diver in that color. I threw that one on, caught a couple fish. That one gets snagged. She gone. There's a couple of Spro and 6 cents crankbaits in the bottom of Clear Lake if y'all want them. But yeah, man, it was never fails. Never fail. That's why whenever I buy cranks, I always usually order 2. And for whatever reason, I order 2 of those ones. Or if I have a second one, God knows where it is. But
You gotta be like these elite guys and order a whole case of them.
man, I ain't got that kind of money.
You gotta see. You gotta see all the stuff they got.
It's stupid. They got like 10 of everything. We order 2 packs of plastic, 2 crankbaits. They have 2 of them.
Oh, there's $100.
They've got 20 of each color, each size. You know what I mean? Of cranks. Like, I can't. It's crazy. The back of their trucks, man. I can't imagine how much money and spare tackles just sitting. Drew, your tackle retriever is a masterpiece, my friend. So he's got this. It's a saltwater rod, a big old reel on it. And I was sitting there talking to him at the back of his truck at the house, and I was like, I just see this rod with a big old, saltwater reel on it. The rod's about yay long, and there's some braid on it. I was like, Drew, what is that? He's like, what? I said, what is that rod? He picks it up. It's damn near like small rope on it, not braid. I don't even know what it is. It comes off. He's got a chain, like 3 links of chain with carabiners on it and a whole bunch of lead on it. He's like, man, it's my lure retriever. He's going to take the chain off, flip it on the line, set it down there. Spook. I just reel it back up.
That'll work.
Oh, man. It's probably like 2 pounds of lead hanging off that thing.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially if he's throwing the big baits when he does. Man, I'd cry if I lost one of those.
Right.
Oh, dude, it cracked me up. Then Brandon comes around the corner. He's like, what is that? He's like, he had to explain it again. I sure he was thinking. I was like, man, I wish I had Drew's lure retriever. 100-pound hollow cord braid.
Nice.
Yeah. Borderline rope. Oh, man. That thing was awesome. I'll have to have Drew hook me up with a Drew special one day. Maybe he's got another broken rod laying around the shop I could do that with.
Yeah, I got a broken rod, and I use an old reel, and I got braid on it, and I have these little lure retriever. But most of the time I just use a 3-ounce weight, snap it on my line.
Yeah.
That usually does the job. And if that one doesn't, I put another one on there. I get 2 of them, and I lose 2 of those those lead weights.
Yeah. Oh man. That was crazy. That was funny. I mean, we still made it work. We had enough cranks for the weekend to do what we had to do, but just couldn't do it well enough. That's for sure. Man, guys, say thanks for watching tonight. I appreciate
Yeah,
you jumping
appreciate
on.
you guys. Thanks
We
for
do
watching.
appreciate the support. A bunch of you guys always run into me at the ramps and awards or whatever, telling me how much you guys like the show. So I appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed. So yeah, next week we'll get those guys on, and then the week after, I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll figure something out. Maybe we'll I'll pull a rabbit out of the hat. We'll see what happens. Guys, appreciate y'all. And
You know what we need to do
What's that, John?
is, you know, when they interrogate people,
Yeah.
right? And then we need to do that. Have it so all you see is a shadow of them, and people that know who it is, they're the winners. And we ask them questions.
That's funny. That's funny. We are working on some giveaway stuff here in the future. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but we'll keep you posted. And I think we got some good things coming for next year too. So stay tuned for all that nonsense. And on that note, I'm gonna go interrogate John some more. We'll see y'all later.
Yeah. Don't forget Hooked for Life,
Hooked-
and then
Hooked.
Waters Adventure Company.
Yep. Hooked the number 4 life.com. Hooked 44, all capitals. And Brian, give him some love. If you guys don't know, he does do raft rentals out of Reading. So if you guys are going up that way and you want to rent a raft and run the Sacramento River, he does do that. So, and if there's a kayak that he has in stock, but it's not down here, give him a call. He'll work something out, hook you guys up. So don't be scared if you don't see it down here in the Rancho store.
That's right.
But yeah, other than that, guys,
Thanks
have
for
a good
watching.
evening.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. I'll check you.